Hey, you guys, how are you? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Happy Women's History Month. I wanted to pop in and talk stimulus. So, since the president announced this latest stimulus check, there has been a lot of back and forth on social media about how it should be used, people's opinions, there's been jokes, funny memes. There's been people talking about what people should or should not be doing with their stimulus checks. And so, I just wanted to talk stimulus for a second. You know, um, for the record, I'm talking about this in an unbiased way because I am not one of those people that receives a stimulus check. But I'm happy for the individuals that do. And for those who are truly, truly in need of this stimulus in this present moment after, this third stimulus, after the unprecedented year that we've had, there's so many people without jobs. There's so many people with reduced hours. There's so many people trying to figure out how to pay their rent, how to pay their mortgage, how to keep their lights on, how to feed their children. And so I have no hate, no shade, and really, it's your money. You grown. Do what you. But I wanted to talk about, what it means to have a stimulus, or what it means to have anything in your life stimulated. So if you look up the definition for stimulus, it says it's an agent that directly influences the activity of a living organism, you, or one of its parts, your family, by exciting, for example, by exciting a sensory organ or evoking muscular contraction or granular secretion. Of course, this is a very technical definition, and it's talking about, because the word stimulus is derived from stimulate or stimuli, which, anything that provides any type of stimulation in our life is supposed to motivate, encourage, boost, provide incentive, incitement. It's supposed to instigate, provoke, spur, etc. Those are some of the synonyms attached to stimulus. So when the government decides to, which they've done this historically in the past in different ways during times that our country was struggling economically, and during times that it seemed like those who had the least and needed the most help needed a pick-me-up. The government has come in and done things like this. I mean, it's one of the reasons that welfare was enacted. One of the reasons. There's a lot of reasons. And so right now, what the government is hoping to do is it's hoping to stimulate our economy. It's hoping to motivate individuals and increase hope for those who may feel hopeless right now. It is meant to excite, provoke, motivate individuals to do something that will help their families and to help their lives be better. And so, again, I don't have an opinion nor a judgment on how anyone spends their stimulus money. Like I said, for some, it is an answered prayer of how they are going to continue to keep the roof over their head. It is an answered prayer for how they're going to put clothes on their children's back. It is an answered prayer for how they're going to put food in their refrigerators. But for many others who are still aptly employed and just fell into the tax bracket that they were eligible for a stimulus check, it is money that can be used to do other things. And so as someone who helps startups and helps individuals strategize on how to best use things, I just want to encourage you to have a strategy with your stimulus check, because as quickly as money comes, it can go when it's not planned for, budgeted, and strategized around in the right way. And so I speak to so many individuals. I get inboxes from so many individuals on a daily basis, with great ideas, with the desire to start businesses, with the desire to change jobs, with the desire to do bigger and better things in their life, that are looking at the stimulus check and not realizing that this could be the catalyst for your next move. This could be the funding that you've been looking for to make your brand stronger. This could be the funding that you're looking for to start your business. This could be the funding that you're looking for to change your quality of life. This could be the blessing. You know, so many church people, there's a story, an old anecdote about a man who was dying of thirst. And he kept praying to God, you know, God, just help me live, help me live, help me live. And the entire time there was a glass of water sitting next to his hospital bed. And the story goes that God was like, dude, drink the water. And so, you know, a lot of times we have things come into our hand and we've been in lack or without for so long that we immediately go into getting money that we weren't expecting and go do all the things we wished we could have done had that money not been there. And a lot of those things are wants versus needs. So I want to encourage individuals who may have gotten theirs last week or maybe on the way. And I want to encourage you, it's tax time too, as you get your tax returns, to think about what can you do and how can you use those funds to stimulate, motivate, provoke your next. I always say higher is calling. There's another level that is available to you. You know, so many people feel trapped, so many people feel boxed in. And here there is this flow of unexpected funds coming into your home potentially that you did not expect, and that if they weren't there, you would have probably survived anyway. But since it is here, what are you going to do with it? You know, we always talk about use what's in our hand. Now, this is going to be something in so many people's hands, or it's already in their hands. And I know as a mother, a lot of times when we haven't been able to do for our children and they've been without for so long, you know, we immediately want to put a smile on their faces by doing something big and something grand. Or, you know, when we haven't taken vacation in a long time, all of a sudden we want to, you know, this is my chance to buy a plane ticket and get flued out or fly myself out. That flued out is an urban colloquialism for that the young people use these days. And I just want to encourage you to strategize on what could you do bigger with that money? How could you invest that money in your dreams, in your plans, in your business, in the stock market, in saving? How can this money become a lesson for your family on what we can do to make sure that we're not put in a position of need again? So many of us live with a lack or poverty mindset. Everything starts with our mindset. You know, it's like the people who win the lottery and they win millions of dollars, and then a year later or 2 years later or 5 years later, they're right back where they were before they won. And it's because although they got the money and although they had the opportunity to change their lives, they didn't take the time to change their mindsets. And so the money came and the money went. And so just having, what can you save? It is recommended by most financial experts that we have at least 6 months worth of bills saved. How many months worth of bills is this stimulus check? And I understand the need. We live in this society of wanting immediate gratification. And we live in the society of thinking, well, that's the least the government can do, especially, minorities and people of color. Like, look they owe me this. They didn't give me my 40 acres and a mule. So the least they can do is give me this stimulus check. And these memes with Uncle Joe being the sugar daddy are hilarious, because just know your tax dollars made that stimulus check possible. So all you're doing is you're getting a free withdrawal off money that you've already poured in anyway, as someone who has probably worked a majority of your life. And so I just wanted to pop on and ask, encourage, hopefully inspire some people to step back and think about the definition of that word stimulus. Think about whenever anything comes into your life to stimulate, increase, provide, excite. And what do you do in those moments? Because standards, character are not built in the moment that the blessing arrives. They're already there when the blessing comes. And we are to be better stewards, to use a church word, better, more responsible adults when we have an opportunity to do things. And so I'm not saying don't go out and buy your kid a pair of shoes. I'm not saying, don't go out and get yourself something nice. It's nice to do something nice for yourself. And if you have been without for a long time and you want to do something nice for yourself, go ahead. But what I'm encouraging you to do is to not just go blow your wad and look back and say, man, I had that money. What am I going to do with it? And then a month from now, be calling, Wisconsin, the electric and gas company is called We Energies, and be calling We Energies because the winter moratorium is lifted and you trying to figure out how to keep your lights on or try to keep your gas or figure out how to pay for this kid's summer activities or figure out how to get them uniforms next year when this influx of money came into your home and wasn't and you didn't take time to take time to pray over it. I'm a woman of faith. Take time to ask God or whatever higher power you believe in, what would you have me to do with this money? Take time to sow if you can, and I encourage it. Even if you think you can't, you usually can. Take time to sow it into someone. There's always someone in a worse position than us, or there's always some place that you can do good. So do some good with it and let that be an example. And, a stimulus, something that stimulates can also cause us again to be impulsive. Try to fight the impulse to just go out and spend and just take a moment. Maybe don't spend it the day you get it, or don't spend it all the week you get it. Of course, if there's debts that you owe, if there is bills that are behind, if there are things that are of an urgent need that you need to do right away, by all means, do that. But truthfully, if we sat down and we did an exercise, my girlfriend and I were talking about this last week, of doing a homework exercise where you accounted for every single dollar you spend. I'm talking about down to the penny. I'm talking gas, food, clothing, extracurricular activities, your discretionary income, etc. How much of that money are you using or investing in a way that you can get a return on your investment? Most successful businesses don't spend without expecting a return on their investment. And so even out here, this is the time, individuals are ramping up with their advertising, retailers are ramping up with their advertising. Everybody know y'all got some money out here in these streets. And so people are trying to get their share of your money. But what will you do? And I mentioned my DMs, on so many occasions, people inbox and I'll say, well, you can do a power hour for $99. You can do a full-blown strategic planning section for $700. And it's like, ooh, I can't afford that. And it's like, we have to decide, can we not afford it? Or are we not budgeting to prioritize it as something that we should be able to afford, because that money will come back 100, 200, 300, 400, 600 fold. But if every time we get it, we immediately spend it on things that will perish, clothes don't last forever, hair, nails, etc. And y'all know I like that kind of stuff. I work hard for it. So this is not a call to say don't take care of yourself, don't do the things that you like. But I'm also saying that at the time that I launched the PowHER Network, and at the time that there was any type of money that came into my hands that was unexpected, especially when I was in the infancy stages of building, it went back into this brand. And at the time that I launched the business, I actually worked a day job and this job. And I had goals. I had goals in different area codes, like the song says. Last night I had a speaking engagement. It was virtual, but it was a Los Angeles speaking engagement. And there was a lot of investing that I did. And if you want to know what the proving ground is now I don't work for anybody else. And so because I was willing to do without and sacrifice when things like that came into my hand, when unexpected money came into my hand, when unexpected blessings came into my hand, when amazing relationships and collaboration opportunities came into my hand, I invested those. And the return on the investment has been the opportunity to become a full-time entrepreneur, the opportunity to build a network that is constantly providing opportunities for me to stay a full-time entrepreneur, the opportunity to send my kids to school without student loans. I'm a planner, so I'm always thinking ahead about what's going to happen 1 month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 12 months from now. Now, I like to spend money, y'all. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't. I haven't always been the best budgeter. I definitely am working on being a better saver. One of our biggest gifts can be one of our biggest curses. And one of the things that I've always been able to do since I was a very young professional is make money. And so I've never really worried about, am I going to be able to make money? Because I have always been able to make money. And so with that being said, there was a stage and a time and a season in my life that I wasn't as responsible with money as I should be, because it was like, well, I'll just make more money. And that is not the way to get wealthy. There's so many individuals out here, wealth groups, wealth coaches, wealth this, wealth that. And it's like, but are you wealthy? There's so many individuals out here talking about how to build a 6-figure or 7-figure brand. Have you built it? It goes back to what I said a few days ago. We're being mentored by failures. Well, I stand here flat-footed and I don't like to talk about money a lot, meaning my own money, because it ain't nobody's business. But, sometimes, that means that sometimes you have to slide your credentials across the table. I will tell you that, my business already in first quarter is on trajectory to double up. It already has doubled up where it was this time last year, just like it did the year before that, and just like the year it did before that. And it's because when you know better, you do better. And so I have gone ahead and made smarter decisions. I took my kids on vacation last month, and we spent a week at a 5-star resort, and we ate at 5-star restaurants, and there was nothing that they asked could we do during that vacation that we didn't do. And I paid for it all in cash. I didn't use credit cards. And the reason I was able to do that is because I planned for it, because I strategized for it, and most importantly, I worked for it. And when opportunity came into my hands to save, decide, plan, that's what I did. And in that particular case, that was a different type of investment. I would much rather invest in experiences with them and showing them the world. So if you are going to do something for the greater good. And so to me, time with them like that, showing them the world, providing them those type of experiences will hopefully open up. Kids can't eat what's not on their buffet. So I'm constantly focusing on expanding my children's buffet. So as they finish college and as they grow older, then they will realize that this is something that they're capable of doing, something they desire to do, and they will put in the work necessary to do it. So as you get this money, if you already got it, or as you get it, and if you already spent it, take this lesson for the next time you get a windfall like this. Just know that it's an opportunity to motivate. It's an opportunity to invest. It's an opportunity to start your dreams. I started the PowHER Network with nothing. I started the PowHER Network with as small of a dollar amount as some of these stimulus checks are. And I just continue to build and build and build. And every dollar that I made initially went back into the business. And I was smart, and I leveraged relationships where possible. And I did calculated risk to make sure that I could get to where I was. But that was the thing. If there was an opportunity to stimulate the growth of this business, which this business is about impacting the lives of women, corporations, professionals, entrepreneurs, men, I have male clients, etc., then I'm going to make sure that I have the necessary tools to do it. So this may be your opportunity to get that computer you need. This may be the opportunity to get that e-commerce site built, your website built, to get professional photos taken, to do the things that you see every single day coming across your news feed that you're like, man, I wish I had the money to do that. You'd be surprised how inexpensive some of those things are if you just decide to do it. And it don't feel good to when look, I love handbags, I love jewelry, I love all kinds of stuff. So, I was thinking about you when I was on vacation with the kids. There's a new Louis Vuitton calling my name, but that time with them was more important to me, and it was a bigger investment than that handbag would ever be. And so I just wanted to get on today and just say, do what you need to do with this money. Like I said, if you are truly in need and you need this money to pull you out of a hole, pull yourself out of the hole. This money could also be the catalyst to improve your credit. If there is something that is stopping you from having the credit score you want, this may be the time to pull your credit report and figure out, what bills can I knock down with this money? The opportunities are limitless. And so I just wanted to get on and hopefully encourage and inspire someone to use this money and maximize this money in these. And now, I hope that it's not, I don't want you to go into some fugazi pyramid marketing scheme that or giving circle, and it's like, okay, give us all your stimulus money and you're gonna get this back. Yeah, there's some math and some equations that go with Ponzi schemes and giving circles and pyramid schemes, but eventually it runs out. And they done got real quiet compared to where they were this time last year. And it's because the investments got so big that a majority of people didn't get their investments back once the dollar amount, because it's a matter of dollars and cents. And so, no, Cal, I did not get my stimulus check today. I'm not one of those people that gets a stimulus check. So this is, like I said, this is unbiased feedback. But in the past, I have been in a position to get stimulus checks, and I have been in get incentives from the government. And so it's not that I'm not speaking from experience. It's me talking right now to individuals that do have that money in their hand and encouraging them to do something smart with it, to make that money. The wealthiest people in the world figure out how to make their money make more money. We've been reading all the articles about Jay-Z and some of the business acquisitions and divestitures that he's done with other individuals. And that being said, he invested, he sacrificed, he used his money to make money. And that is that's the smartest thing that any of us can do, is to figure out how we can leave a legacy. So it may not, $1,400 or 1,400 times, however many dependents you have. It may feel like, for some people, I've never had that much money in my life. And so, girl, you telling me not to go out and ball out? You telling me not to go out? Yes, my income is above $80,000. Absolutely it is. Since you asked bluntly, and I work for me. And so, that being said, I just want to, but it hasn't always been. It hasn't always been, and it could easily not be. I'm an entrepreneur, but because I use my money wisely, and because I choose to give back, I give back tremendously. I probably give over $30,000 a year to nonprofit organizations. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I believe that, because I'm privileged enough to be at a certain earnings, that it is my responsibility to give back. And it is my responsibility to help others. And it is my responsibility to be an example of what someone can do. And I come from a working class family. My grandfather had an 8th grade graduate education and started his own successful business in the city of Chicago. And we used to help him do his books. I'm a product of the South Side of Chicago. Nothing was handed to me. Everything that I've earned, everything that I have, I get out every single day, roll up my sleeves and figure out how to do it. I have a son that's in college right now. And, we encourage him, because it's about teaching accountability. I'm not enabling nobody around here. So we encourage him to go after internships and to go after scholarships and to do everything that he needs to do. And the commitment is, if you do your part, I'll do my part. And at the point that, and I have a son older than him who completely lives on his own, and I don't pay not one of his bills. And I won't pay not one of his bills. I mean, of course, if he fell on hard times, mama here to help. But you have to have fallen on hard times, not based on stupidity, but based on circumstances beyond your control. For example, when the pandemic first hit, his job closed and his lease was up and he needed to live with me. He probably wasn't even here a month, because what happened is we don't create what we want, we create who we are. And so I've laid an example for my children that you need to be able to be self-sufficient, and you need to be able to sustain and maintain on your own. And, my parents are phenomenal. And of course, if I find myself in dire straits, then they are definitely there. Should I need them, but they're not rich by any means. So they're there to the point that they can be, but it is not my expectation that they're doing so much for me that all of a sudden they can't do for themselves. And that is the definition of adulting. And that is the definition. Yeah, I know that's not an actual word. That is the definition of being a responsible adult. And Cal, if you heard me, I said I donate over $30,000 a year back into the community, and that doesn't even count. That's not even count. That's my personal give back. That doesn't even count what my business, the PowHER Network, does for the community. So I agree with you completely about donating back to the community. I don't just donate money, but I donate my time. This Saturday, I'm speaking to a group of youth and talking to them about career paths for free. And so it is incumbent upon all of us to give back. You have to be worried about more than our four and no more. That is bigger than all of our households. And so I totally, completely agree with that, live by that. I'm a servant leader first. And so, but also, I think that some of us, we give what's not ours to give. We give to the point of our own detriment. We give to the point of our children's detriment. We give to the point that we don't have anything left to take care of ourselves. And that's when you have to look at yourself and say, what trauma is being triggered on the inside of me that I am giving to the point of a deficit? It's usually this desire to feel like you belong, or this desire to show up the Jones, or this imposter syndrome where you want people to think that you're doing better than you really are. And none of that is necessary. Someone else's opinion of you is not your business. And so that being said, I do what it is that I do, not for accolades and not for applause. I do what it is that I do for individuals that I do it for, and organizations that I do it for, because I know how blessed I am, and I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in. And therefore, I know that I can, and so I do give back. And that's what it is. So as your home is possibly stimulated this week by stimulus, or was stimulated last week. I know some people got their checks as early as Friday. I want you to really sit back, pull out a piece of paper, and write down that dream, write down that business idea, write down your next steps, write down your budget, write down what you're spending dollar for dollar, and really make smart decisions and create smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, with a time date attached to them of what can be done with the money and how you can grow the money. Because like I said, it will come and go quickly if we are not proper with it. And again, money is about mindset. Money doesn't make you a different person. Money just makes you more of who you are. And so I gave at the same capacity I give now when I didn't have much. And so that doesn't change because now I'm blessed to have more. That is a part of who I am. And that's a part of who I've always been. And that's an example that was laid out for me. I told a story in a group recently. I remember growing up in Chicago and my mom didn't even have a car, and she would literally come pick me up from school on the bus in Chicago in the cold. And then we would take the L train and another bus for her to go volunteer for Junior Achievement and pour into other people's youth. And she did that with or without transportation. And so when we lay out examples like that, then then we can, then those are the examples that our children remember. Those are examples that other people remember. And I believe that I'm blessed to be a blessing. And so hopefully you believe that too. And like I said, for anybody watching this, that this is going to get you out of debt, that this is going to keep the roof over your head, that this is going to keep the lights on, that this is going to provide food in your refrigerator, that this is going to provide much needed clothing on your back. Your kids' shoes are too small, there's holes in them, whatever the case may be. God bless you. And I'm so thankful that you're able to do that, and you're able to, because there's nothing more stressful and there's nothing more hard than not being able to provide for your family, or wondering if you're going to be able. I've been in that position of, am I going to be able to keep my house? I've lost houses. I've been in that position of watching them tow the car away. I've been in that position of having a negative bank account constantly. I've been in that position of saying, dang, I just had all this money. What happened to it? And so I just wanted to say, like, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. And if you decide, Sean, I hear what you're saying, but girl, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ball out. I'm going to go to Phoenix to party. I'm going to go to the mall and toast it up. That's a decision you made. And as adults, we all live with our decisions. And I'm not judging you either way, because you are an adult and it's up to you. I am just here as a teacher, as a facilitator, as a strategist, to encourage and inspire you that if you have an opportunity to do something bigger, if you have an opportunity to start something that could make you way more money than those 3 checks combined, then this may be the opportunity to do it. This may be the blessing that you've been praying about. This may be the money that you've been looking for. This may be the working capital that you needed. We all know that working capital is least available to people of color. And so this may be the opportunity to take your business to the next level. Like I said, to build that website, to get your graphics, to get the pictures, to do so many things, to buy the computer, to upgrade the internet so you can go live, and to get the ring light that's shining on me right now so your background can look better, to do whatever it is that you've done. And so just sit back before you just go spend it. And a lot of times we just peel off a little, and we'll nickel and dime ourselves to death. And it's like, all of a sudden, then it's like, man, it's gone. Shoot, what do I have to show for it? And so I'm just hoping that when it all comes down to it, you have something to show for it that you can be proud of, besides a whole bunch of stuff that you thought you wanted in the moment and that you impulsively did. So just take some time to take some time. Take some time to do the right thing. Take some time to catch up. And if you are caught up, take a little bit of it and save. And so that's my advice for you today. Figure out some of your favorite companies and buy some shares of stock, not just for you or your kids. If you don't have life insurance, this might be the opportunity to buy life insurance. If you don't have car insurance, if you're placing, this might be the opportunity to do that. Just do something smart. Do something that you are going to thank you for doing. And then, if you happen to buy yourself a cute sweater, if you happen to go in Target and act up, then that's great. Buy a car. Buy a car. That's enough money to buy a car. I love that, Kyle. Like, get off the corner and be proud. And so that's all I wanted to say about it. I wanted to make sure we understood what the word stimulus and what stimulate is meant to do. And I hope that this stimulates you into something great. I hope this stimulates you to take life to another level. I hope that this motivates you, that you can do some things. I hope that the impulse on the inside of you is to do good for others if you straight. I hope that the impulse inside of you is to start a college fund for your kids. I hope the impulse inside of you, we don't just have college funds for our kids. We have down payments for their home saved. We have, there's a rule in our house that, you get to keep until you're 18. Then once you're 18, you can do what you want to do with your money. But, you have to, you have to take 50% of your money and put it in your bank account, and then you get to keep 50%. Because real talk, if I'm buying your clothes, I'm buying your food, I'm paying all your bills, like, what you need all that money for anyway? And so we have to start teaching better spending, saving, budgeting habits. And I will say it's so much easier to teach it to our children at a young age than to learn it as an adult. I mentioned all of the things that I've been through. It's because I was like crawling my way through learning how to be fiscally responsible. And things happen beyond our control. You know, when I think about the times that I have taken a big hit, it's because something beyond my control happened and I didn't have the savings. Nothing is an emergency unless you don't have the money. You getting a flat tire, you needing to buy 4 tires, you needing a new transmission, your washer and dryer breaking, you know, all the little things that happen to so many of us all the time, your oven breaking, etc. None of that is an emergency if you have the money or the credit available to you to take care of it. But there are so many things and so many people I see saying, hey, I got an emergency right now. No, I don't feel good to get that stuff fixed right now. You know, my washer and dryer tripping. Like it doesn't feel good to have to pay for those things, but it does feel good to have the means to handle it. It doesn't feel good when all of a sudden last week my daughter plays for the Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra. They both do. And one of my daughter's bass broke. No, it doesn't feel good to need to buy her a new instrument, but it does feel good to have the means to be able to take care of it. And so I'm just saying, handle your business, handle your scandal, handle whatever it is you need to handle. And if you have some left over, consider saving it. And if you're not at a place that you need to save it, then go do something nice for yourself. Like I said, I love and believe in nice things. So this is not me saying don't do anything nice for yourself. I do nice stuff for myself all the time. I do nice things for my children all the time. I just make sure that my responsibilities are cared for first. So that's all I'm trying to say. All right, you guys, happy spending. Do it right. Do it smart. Budget. Be strategic. Write it down. If you're an entrepreneur or if you desire to be an entrepreneur, this may be your time. This may be the seed money you were looking for. What can you do with it? What can you do with it? Use what's in your hand. All right, you guys. Peace, love, power. I'm out. Today will be what you make it. Choose to make it great.